We need to head to Whiterun. There's a woman there by the name of Ysolda. She deals with the Khajiit caravans all the time. If she hasn't heard anything, she will know who has.
Yep, I'm sure he's doing well there.
Sounds good. Let's head to Whiterun.
Okay then. It'll be nice to have some company for a change. Skyrim is dangerous to travel alone. Many people have disappeared without a trace out here in the Reach. Yonder the Tiny discovered a mysterious monument with a bird figurehead lit by fire. The crew of Jorvaskr settled next to what they called Skyforge. You should have run. Are you all right? Will this be your first visit to Whiterun? It's a nice little city.
Never should have come here.
I'll put you out of your fucking misery. Jarl Balgruuf is having problems with his son Nelkir. The kid is very dark and angry.
Never is.
Rumor has it that Balgruuf may have killed the kid's mother.
Ysolda, I presume.
That's me. Is there something I can do for you?
Looking for information on a caravan and was hoping you could help.
I'll help if I can. What is it you need to know?
A caravan was attacked near Old Hrolden Inn. Have you heard anything about it?
Unfortunately, that seems to be happening more and more since the war started. Sadly, I don't have the information you're looking for, but I know who would. A group of Khajiit camp outside of Whiterun's entrance every few days, selling their wares. If anyone has the information you need, it would be them.
You look like a
Sorry.
Get lost.
I thought she would have more information. Maybe I led us too far from the Reach.
Tools, wares, and weapons, all for sale at fair prices. We are creatures of the desert. The north wind chills us to the bones. Oh, the wind blows bitter cold in this place.
Could I have a moment of your time?
Khajiit may have what you seek. What can I do for you, friend?
I'm in search of a missing caravan. Eydis' husband went missing helping one.
I see. I am afraid you come in the wrong direction. I cannot. Speak with my friends. They are better informed.
I hear you speaking of caravan attacks in the Reach.
My friend's husband went missing helping a caravan. She owns the Old Hrolden Inn, out in the Reach. Any information you could give us would be helpful.
She must be speaking of the bloody attack, just outside Robert's Gorge.
You must be correct, my friend. It got the attention of many travelers a while back. It's known to the locals as Chillwind Depths. Our caravans stopped taking this route due to this place. Khajiit has much information, but no one ever listens.
Yeah, well, I can promise you we are listening. We'll head there and find out what's causing these attacks. Thank you.
Khajiit has much information, but no one ever listens. Thank you, friend. Is a good day when our knowledge is respected. This will benefit all caravans. You help stop these attacks on caravans, and Khajiit will reward you on a more personal level.
Seems they took a liking to you. Looks like someone might be getting some kitty pussy.
Where do you want to go?
I'd like to hire your carriage. Solitude.
Climb and back, and we'll be off. You ready to go yet? First time to Solitude? Beautiful.
The soldier above all prays for peace, for it is the soldier who must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. This doesn't look like a good place to be taken to. If we find her husband, I doubt he's living. We need to get out of here.
Hear that? Something's going on.
And that is why I'm the best at what I do. You better hit me harder than that.
Seems like it was a gruesome death.
Yeah, it's a cruel world we live in. He should have listened to his wife. As sad as it is, it's his own fault.
Seems harsh.
I never claimed to be an empath, but I am a realist. And the reality is, if he had listened to his wife, he wouldn't be here. A word to the wise. If you're gonna have a bleeding heart for everyone you meet, Skyrim's gonna eat you alive. We better head back to the inn and tell her the news. Let's go. I can see why these nasty creatures here are blind. The fumes are so strong that I can barely see. Let's get out of this shithole. My feet are soaking wet. Every criminal, creature, and scumbag in Tamriel hides out in these caves. Watch your back.
Eydis, we have some grim news.
Old Hroldan is the stone that the Empire's history is built on. I take it my husband's dead? I'm not sure what to say.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I had a gut feeling he may be gone, 'cause it's written all over your face. Then there was always the thoughts in the back of my head that kept me awake at night. Did he just want out? Was he off with someone else? Did he not love us? Our thoughts have a tendency to dive into the dark end of things.
So him being dead is better than him cheating on you?
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds horrible. But knowing he didn't just leave his family behind for a piece of ass will help me sleep better. At least I can tell his son that he died trying to help others.
I see. That makes sense.
I'm glad you understand where I'm coming from.
Well, is there anything else I can do before I go?
I appreciate what you've done. At least now, I have some closure. I don't have a lot of gold, so take these. Please. I hope it's something you can use.
I'll rent Tiber Septim's room.
Have a good rest. It's the big room with the double bed. I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Something you've been meaning to say to me?
Tell me more about you.
Well, I grew up in Woodhearth and spent a lot of time fishing and playing along the sea. Woodhearth is very diverse, ranging from the High Elves of Somerset to the Imperials of Cyrodiil. I started off at a very young age, learning about many different cultures and traditions. Being raised as I was, it makes it easy for me to mingle with all walks of life.
Yes?
What kind of things interest you?
History always interests me. I would lose myself in books for days and weeks at a time. I learned a lot about different cultures during my studies. It's a bit of a brag, but I take pride in what I've learned. So be ready, 'cause I may blurt out historical facts now and then. The more I learned, the more I rebelled my own culture. I became an outcast when I refused to follow the Green Pact.
What is the Green Pact?
It allows only meat-based products to be consumed, and it's forbidden to harm trees and plant life for one's own advancement. Part of the Green Pact is the Meat Mandate, which dictates that a fallen enemy must be eaten completely before 3 days pass. I refuse to become a cannibal, or treat a plant like it has feelings for fuck's sake, just because of some stupid tradition. Tradition is nothing more than peer pressure from dead people. I'm sorry, and I apologize, mean the same thing, except at a funeral. Right. What now?
I work for Eydis. She runs the inn.
Yes?
Why Skyrim?
Well, I came here years ago. Honestly, I came here in search of people that are less passive. The area where I grew up, everyone always seemed so stuck up and soft. Something always feels familiar here, though. I have chunks of memory missing from childhood as well, so maybe I am searching for the unknown. The more places you visit, you start to realize that civilization is situational, you know?
What do you mean? You don't want a good situation?
When I was a young girl, something happened with my parents that changed me. I was playing behind our home when I heard screaming from within the house. I ran into the house to find my parents being attacked by bandits. They didn't see me, so I crawled under a big stone table my father had built and hid. First time I had ever seen my mom and dad in fear. I remember feeling so helpless. All I could do was watch as they pillaged our home and took what they wanted. That memory never left me. That feeling of being scared and helpless. After that day, I stopped playing like a little girl. I wanted to learn to be strong, fearless. I started to see the weakness in what we had created. We had become dependent. After my parents passed on, I left. Been here ever since. I needed to live in an area that being weak will get you killed. Get tough or get dead. Once you become weak due to an easy situation, you are no longer in control of your life. I think that's enough stories for now. Let's get going. Let's go!
What have you done with your time in Skyrim?
I spent a lot of my time in solitude when I first arrived. Learned a lot more about the history. That city houses the weakest people I have met. All of them. Pampered and sheltered from danger. So when Ulfric shows up and challenges the king, everyone just stood around in fear and watched. They were all so fucking weak because of their pampered life. A bunch of useless douchebags. Be careful who you trust. Salt and sugar look the same. In other words, the Battleborns and Greymanes may feud, but don't trust either side.
Never you mind them.
Oh, Sadia.
Yes, Mom?
Just a reminder, sweetie. The blankets still need
Come
to
on,
be washed.
let's get moving. I'm sick of standing around.
Oh, yes, Mom. I'll make sure it gets done.
What did you do after the king was killed?
After Ulfric came in and killed High King Torrig, chaos broke out everywhere. So, I decided I would just travel more of Skyrim and revisit some places I had already been. It wasn't the first time I've moved around, though. I've met a lot of people and also made a few enemies along the way. I'd like to know more about you as well.
What do you want to know?
I can already see that you're Imperial. So, where were you born and raised?
In Cyrodiil.
It's known as a wealthy province. You must have plenty of stories. Only place I have visited there is Bruma. Is your family still living there?
No, my family has passed on.
I'm sorry. I know that feeling all too well. That's enough for now. We'll talk again later. Let's get moving.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I don't have the energy to pretend to like other people today.
The way of war. The sooner you accept his loss, the better.
I will never accept his death. My son still lives.
What is it?
In my heart.
How well do you know Skyrim?
I've been around, met lots of people. This can be a tough land, but I learned a few things that I didn't expect.
Like?
Well, it seems like everyone is in need of help. You'll hear a lot of tough talk from people, yet they'll always ask someone else to carry out things for them if they're dangerous.
He died a storm-cloaked traitor.
Have you helped others?
I have. As much of a bitch I can be, I still try and help when I can.
Come on, Father. There's nothing more to be said here.
What else can you tell me?
People marry fairly quickly here. Not many standards. It doesn't take much to make an impression either. Some people will throw themselves at you for splitting a couple armloads of wood. Bunch of hoes if you ask me.
Seems desperate.
You think that's easy? Many people will throw sex at you freely. Whether it has a hole or a dick, or both, people are pretty free with sex. Makes me wonder why everyone has goats and chickens. I mean, you never see them go to slaughter.
That's fucked up. Let's change the subject.
Sure. It's important to let others know where you stand, and what your attractions and desires are. Word travels fast here, and if people see you as a stranger, they will inquire about you. Myself? I like both men and women. It depends on the person. What about you?
I'm attracted to women.
That's good to know. I'll let others know if I'm asked. It will save you the trouble of being approached by the unwanted. I can't think of anything else at the moment.
Thanks for all your help, Gellis. Is there anything I can do for you?
There is, actually, since you're offering. I made my parents a promise when I was younger, that when they passed, I would spread their ashes in the Sea of Ghost. Let's head up north near the old Talos shrine on the water. That seems like a great place to do it. Will be nice to have someone watching my back while I say a few final words.
I can take you to any of the hold capitals.
I'd like to hire your carriage.
Where do you want to go?
To Dawnstar.
Climb and back, and we'll be off. Oh, steady, old girl. Couldn't ask for better weather.
I have always dreamed of seeing new lands, and it does not hurt
After
that
1 in
we are
the
making a
morning and
good
I'm
profit.
fucking sober. It's a crime.
Perhaps I should
Sorry.
be more grateful for this opportunity. Not many Khajiit.
Why the fuck does everything want to kill us?
rend you limb from limb!
Can't beat me!
Come on! You didn't get injured, did you? For fuck's sakes, it's not even 6 in the morning. I suppose you want me to come in and get wet too? Ever wonder what caused a ship like this to wreck? Do they ever investigate the cause when a ship runs ashore?
True Nords never back down!
This is the end for you.
Do you have a fucking death wish?
This what you want, huh?
Sure have mercy on you!
We need to get out of here. Gotta get the most of this weather. What a beautiful day. It's finally afternoon time. This day is past the halfway point, and all I can think about is to crawl into bed.
Is this the place?
It is. Thank you for coming with me. Give me a few moments, please, and make sure no wild animals attack me from behind. I told you both I would keep my promise. You're free now. I'll never forget what you both taught me. I'm gonna be okay. I love you. Don't say anything yet. Just kiss me. Come here. Is man merely a mistake of the gods? Or are the gods merely a mistake of man? Feels like time is dragging this afternoon. Yes?
You feel better now?
What? You didn't like the kiss?
No, I didn't. Don't just plant your lips on me without warning.
I didn't think a kiss was that big of a deal. It's not like I stuck my finger in your ass or something.
Never mind, change the subject.
Come on!
There must be a reason for this place.
Growing up, my dad was a blacksmith. He did a lot of work on the ships as well when they were moored. Every couple years or so, he would sail to different ports in Tamriel to gather supplies that were hard to come by back home in Valenwood. On one of his trips, he brought me along. I was just a kid. My first time leaving home.
Must have been exciting.
It was exciting, but scary. Mom was just starting to get sick. We had a caretaker that lived with us to treat her. That's why he brought me along. The excitement didn't last, though. I got very sick from the motion of the ship. Spent most of my time feeding the fish as I threw up over the rails. I remember looking up and watching Skywatch disappear as we sailed north into the Abyssian Sea.
The trip sounds awful.
For the most part, it was. Spent most of my time with my face in a wooden bucket. There was one moment, though. On our way back home, I had to vomit in the middle of the night. I ran to the ship's edge and let it go. When I was finished, my dad was beside me, as he always was. He points towards the shore, and my eyes took on this amazing sight that left me in awe. This large shrine of Talos flickering in candlelight. You could see the reflection on the waves as the cold winds whipped across the water. And towering above it all, as if watching over the cliff's edge, stood the Shrine of Azura.
Seeing that as a child must have been scary.
But it wasn't. Standing there in the cold sea air. My dad telling me the stories of the shrines, as he wrapped me in a warm fur. All my seasickness disappeared for a spell. It was comforting. I was at peace, listening to Dad talk about the shrine's history, his arm around me. I never forgot that night. It was the greatest moment of my childhood. I read about history now because it brings me back to that moment. So when I made my parents the promise to spread their ashes in the Sea of Ghost, I knew where I would do it.
Sounds like you were close with your dad.
I loved my dad. He used to say things to me that as a child I thought was foolish. As I got older, I realized he was just preparing me for a cruel, unpredictable world.
What kind of things would he say?
If you slit somebody's throat, always have a backup plan to make the body disappear.
That's what he told you as a child?
Oh. There's no reason to let the young believe. The world is a good place. Once you do, you've put them on the road of weakness and the possibility of dying at the hands of someone stronger. The world is not a place of safety. That is an illusion. Life is not a journey. It's finding a way to survive.
That's one way of looking at it. So, what did you take from your dad's advice?
That line about the body disappearing always stuck with me. It isn't about murder. It's about having a backup plan or an escape plan for life's traps. He also used to tell me, the only way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. Your gut will always tell you who to trust.
You seem to struggle with the trust thing.
No. Yes. Oh, I don't know. If I'm going to start trusting, then now is the time. I don't know you well, but something about you makes me want to stick around. I have struggled with trust all my life, but I always have a backup plan.
For what?
For life in general. No one knows what path life will take us down. Sometimes you may have to commit dark deeds for your own survival. I've learned to use the secrets of others to my own advantage. I've made mental notes about things that will have others watching my back for me. If you let others talk, sooner or later you will find their true intentions.
I'm not quite following, but I'm sure I'll understand with time.
You will understand soon enough.
Thank you. And thanks for sharing the story of the shrines. It was beautiful.
It was. Thanks for letting me relive that moment. But it's fucking cold. Let's get out of here. You must have things to do. I'll come along with you, if you'll have me.